Start with an opening statement from Coach.
Well, obviously pleased with the win, and especially that our defense was improved over how we've been playing. We took 3 charges after not taking a charge forever, and we got better defensively. We had a lot of guys contribute. Jarrell had a great second half. Very pleased. I think, again, watching Penn on videotape, Butler could not put him away, except for a few late free throws. That was a single-digit game. It was a 2-3-point game late, and Butler's as good as anyone in the country. Wagner won well over 20 games last year and had 4 out of 5 starters back, and they dropped that one in overtime. And they're on the verge of winning games against good teams. I mean, the facts show that. So that makes me appreciate this win even more. That relatively speaking, that we played pretty good defense against a team that good teams have been struggling against.
Can I talk about the way Tyrone has moved from the practice court and fit in with your guys on the court during games?
We knew he would, and part of the reason that we knew he would is that he's had personal relationships with a lot of our players for a long time. I mean, he's known with these guys, he's grown up with them, so it was always a natural fit.
Talking about, give me an anecdote about you talking to the players yesterday, telling them to look up at the banners and ceiling of Big 5 history and stuff. I know there's still a long ways to go in this season, but 2-0 so far. And what does it mean for you, and what does it mean for these guys, for this set of players, the City Series this year?
Oh, I think every year it's a big deal. I think that being able to win the Big 5 in the best college basketball city in America will always be a big deal. I like it as a measuring stick because the champion of the Big 5 is going to go to the NCAA tournament almost all the time. So again, I've said this before, I don't worry about Texas, I don't worry about Wake Forest, I don't worry about Illinois. If you win in Philadelphia, you'll be there with anybody, as Temple recently showed against Syracuse. So to me, the Big 5 is a real big deal. Not only because of the tradition and the competition, but because if you're the best team in Philly, you're going to be nationally relevant. And we're halfway there. Someone asked me about yesterday about being how I feel at the midway point. I said, well, how would you feel if your surgeon did a good job halfway through, but slipped up a little bit in the second half? It doesn't mean anything. You evaluate your season when it's over, and we have a long way to go. Now our non-conference is over. And now we can evaluate that. I think we did a good job because I think we did the minimum to be considered a potential postseason team. I think, another win or two and we'd be in much better shape. But I think we did the minimum of what we needed to do to be a team that could be looked at as one of potential.
John, a lot of turnovers in this game, forcing a lot on Penn early. Can you talk about the impact that had?
Turnovers are a big deal in basketball, football. It's very hard to win if you're having a problem with turnovers. We had a couple guys high in turnovers today. I think we'll work on that and get better at it. But certainly turnovers hurt any team. We have enough quickness where I think statistically we're pretty good with causing turnovers. Our team's a little bit deceiving defensively because our defensive field goal percentage is not good, and that bothers us. But we give up very few threes, and we turn people over a lot. And in terms of defensive efficiency, we're one of the we're in the top third of the country in terms of being a defensive team. So that even though people make twos against us, they don't make threes and they turn it over, which has a big impact on the game. If we could ever get our 2-point defense a little better, we could have a heck of a team.
What was the major defensive emphasis, John, after the Miami game for you?
Mental. The Miami game was the first time in 2 years that I thought we didn't play hard defensively and we didn't do what they know is right defensively. I think that our offense affected our defense. I think having a bad shooting night got guys frustrated. They actually worked less hard on defense. When your offense is struggling, you need to work harder on defense. I think when Larkin made a couple big threes, we packed it in a little bit. And that this team has just never done that, and hopefully we'll never do it again. It was our first double-digit loss, I think, in the last 2 seasons, and we certainly didn't like that. So it was a little bit of a low point, but it's mental. We talked about following your fundamentals, especially at crunch time, weak side help, gap help, basic things that they've been taught. We talked about not letting offense affect defense. We talked about being accountable, that admitting your mistakes. We talked about being more physical, taking charges, doing harder things. And those are the things that make a team tough. And we didn't have it in the last 11 minutes against Miami. Today was a step back in the right direction.
Can you talk about conference play beginning on Wednesday and just what you expect from the league this year?
I expect it's going to be hard. It's incredibly balanced. It's incredibly deep. There's tremendous quality. You just look at the number of, this league's beat number 1 in the country, number 3 in the country, number 9 in the country. I don't know how many leagues have multiple top 10 wins already. I mean, it's a monster. It's just a monster. And I think we're as good as anyone, but there's going to be someone good like us finishing 9th, 10th, or 11th because not everyone can win, and there's that many good teams.
Coach, can you talk about what you saw from Garvin today against his former
Loved
team?
him. He had 3 offensive rebounds, kicked them, put 1 back, kicked the other 2 out, just played his heart out. He's here because he belongs as a basketball player, but more importantly because he's a great kid. We had a lot coming back, and the most important thing with anyone we were going to add was going to be chemistry. Someone who could accept the role, compete, be a great person, be a great teammate, be a hard worker, and Garvin's done all of that, and it was great to see him play well today. Very happy for him.
There's plenty of transfers all over the place in college basketball. It's not always happens. You take a guy in knowing he's going to face his old team at some point. Did you say anything to him yesterday, or did he say anything to you?
Well, I just said I know it's important to you. To obviously my coach, a coach, or the rest of the team, every game is the same. But certainly when you play your alma mater, that's a very unusual thing, and he loves Penn. He chose to stay at Penn and get his degree from there. So it's just emotional, I would think, to play against your alma mater, and I think it would be for anyone. It's unusual, and he did a nice job.
Anything else? Okay.
Thanks, Matt.